There we go. Live on YouTube now. Let's get started with the party, shall we? Yeah, so what did I want to do today? I wanted to play around. I have an idea that I may or may not complete. We'll see how this part of it goes. I'm going to be playing in Falcon. And while playing with Falcon, you can do all sorts of cool stuff. Currently, I just have an FM oscillator loaded in here. I don't think I'm actually going to keep that. I think I'm going to get rid of that and put in something new. I have this idea of maybe putting in like I don't know. I want to I want to get to a point where I'm making a scene in sound particles. And sound particles, if you don't know sound particles, is a great 3D audio software for creating scenes and all sorts of other cool textures and new sounds. I use it a lot to actually create ambiences for things. I do a lot of, just even normal ambiences like birds, because you go out and record in nature and sometimes you get too many birds for what we want. So what I'll do is I'll research an area, find out what birds live in that area, go and find those sounds for those birds in my library, and then make a bird track in sound particles, because I can control then the amount of birds and still have it be random where they show up. So today I wanted to do something not with birds, but I kind of wanted to make an arcade because of my playing the other day. I was having a lot of fun just kind of making sounds, and I was kind of just thinking it might be cool to make like arcade game sounds and then add them to sound particles, and then make a arcade room background of just arcade sounds. So I'm gonna just play around and just see what I can come up with while just playing with some synths and new stuff like that. See what we can do. Not liking that so far. I don't know. This is what I kind of do every morning, just to kind of wake up. I grab a cup of coffee, I answer some emails, and then I come in here and start messing around with stuff and seeing what I can come up with. I'm gonna go up an octave. No arcade sounds really. I mean, if I wanted to do arcade music, I could do that. Ooh, actually. Nah, not liking that. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what you want to do. But playing around. This might give us something. Sounds like Pac-Man already. Kind of like that. Had the mapping for a second there. Playing around with because I don't want to. Pac-Man. Ooh, all right. right, so if I take this and I just add some modulation to it, and let's add it to the key group, and we'll add an LFO. And then we'll go and edit that, and kind of like that, but maybe like going that direction better. So it's kind of I like that sound. Kind of sounds like a video game-ish sound. Let's add some effects to this key group. Why not? Go over here and we can add, maybe add a delay. Add something like tape back. Well, what's velvet delay? That sounds smooth as heck. Well, it looks like we can't add it to that. We can't add a delay to our key group? What kind of crud is that? We can add modulation though. Let's add modulation. Let's add some. What can we add? Why are you not allowing me to add anything I want to add, huh? I can add a frequency shifter. Let's see what that does. Ultra unharmonized. Let's add this and LFO to this too. Allow it to do its thing. We'll add it to the same LFO. I kind of like that. That's kind of neat. It's kind of a neat little. Kind of a neat little. Oh, that's my favorite though. Not my favorite. Oh. Can we change this setting? Yeah. Again, just trying to find something that gives me something a little more exciting. Maybe we'll do, that's a little too far, but we can take these two and knock them down so that they end up being in this range. What if we go down on our keyboard? This gives you that idea. Kind of gives you that just grabbed coins kind of feel. Right? Like you're running through a Subway Surfer, grabbing coins. I kind of like that. Maybe too much fuzz. Not enough fuzz. The important thing when you're playing with sound design is to just keep playing. Kind of like that. Ooh, knock down the pitch a little bit. maybe, let's see if we take out, maybe we take the modulation. Up here I can show and hide the different parts of Falcon. So like I'm hiding the mapping because I'm not going to change the mapping, but I still want to see my full oscillator, and I'm going to open up the modulation and go to the amp. Envelope. I don't quite want it to be that long. I just wanted to get rid of that initial kind of bump. I'll deal with that. I like that. I don't know what inflection does. Kind of like it though. Ooh. That sounds very 80s video game-ish. I kind of like that. No, let's scale all the way up. That is kind of cool for a video game. I think I'm on my way to something here. Harder I hit, obviously, the louder it gets. Love having velocity control on my keyboard. Of course, it makes things nice and more fun. Got a couple of viewers. Thank you very much for joining along. Let's see. What else can we do to this? I don't know. We want to add another layer to it? Well, we can. We can go to the tree and we can go into the program and say add new layer. And under this layer, we can add a key group. And under this key group, we can change our sound here. And maybe we'll make a wavetable. And we'll change the wavetable to be something a little more exciting. Fat duck. I like that. So let's add some sort of modulation to that. Again, to this key group. Maybe this time we'll add an envelope. And go down here and mess with this envelope. Kind of like that. Something. Something like that. Just adds a little extra bonk to it. Kind of like that for a video game sound. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm live streaming this because I'm like, oh, you know, people always ask, what is it like to do what you do, to make the sounds that you make, to play around, to be a sound designer? And this is a lot of what it is. It's really just playing with goofy sounds and hearing the same thing over again. You know what? I'm going to take off note tracking on both of these. Ooh, maybe not on that. Put that there, and let's go back to layer 1. Maybe. I'm going to take off note tracking on layer 1. And maybe what I'll do also is on layer 2. Let's add the mapping back and let's take a look at what the mapping is. Maybe we take this and knock this down to C2. Or we knock it up to C4. Cool thing is that we could totally change the route to what we want so that it works best. I like that. A lot of playing around with just the same sound blasting back and forth, but I think I kind of like that. I'm going to knock down the gain of layer 1 a little bit just so that it's not so overpowering. That way it's sort of just allowing it to sort of just sit there. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe we put that back up to 0. Maybe we knock down this guy. I don't know. I kind of like the buzz. Maybe it is the right balance. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is the right balance for video game sort of. I just collected something that I wasn't supposed to, or not wasn't supposed to, that I was supposed to collect, you know. Oh, I just got that. Ooh. I'm getting all the pellets, right? Pac-Man pellets. I'm dating myself, James. You're dating yourself to be the old man. Yes, yes, I am. But that is the way the cookie crumbles. So we take something like that, and then maybe we go under here and under program, maybe under master, we go ahead and grab distortion and do something like that. Do something. Just sort of clip it off there. Kind of like that as a choice of bonks. Choice of something. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. So I'm going to take this, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record it back in as record it back in as a mono, because if I'm going to put into sound particles, working with monos works better for this sort of scene setup that I want to do. So I have it going back into here for mono. And the other thing I'd like to do is make sure that before I go and record it, I'm going to make sure that's going to get named properly. And so I got this cool USC audio category clipper app from the USC website, and I can do maybe arcade and see if it game arcade. There we go. But for specific, yeah, that's exactly what I want. So I can pull that up. For some reason, it doesn't always pick the one that I want. Collection monk is what I'm going to call that. And I'm going to copy that and go over to my Pro Tools and rename my track to have that. And I always take off the number because it's going to automatically put a number at the end there. And then make sure that my disk allocation is set correctly, which I'm going to send it straight to my sound design folder. Actually, I'm going to make a special folder within that sound design folder. Let's go back here and go in sound design and make a new folder called arcade elements. Organization is an important thing to make sure you know where everything's going to be. And now that we have that set, we can go back over here, make sure that we have Falcon selected. I am peaking there, so let's knock this down just a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is just record in a bunch of bonks here, because what that will allow me to do is then I could take that file and put it in sound particles, and then sound particles can just create the ambiance that I want there. So I'm going to go into record and just actually, by doing this like this, and also, you know, I'll do that one, and actually I'll do one that does multis, and we'll allow that to be called 2, because then that way sound particles can go through and decide what it wants to do with them. Just playing around with this synth. Cool. And now, just because I don't want to waste everybody's time while I come up with other sounds to add into sound particles, I can go over here and start up sound particles. If you haven't seen sound particles before, it is cool. New update version, I'll do that later. That's okay. Sound particles is a lot of fun to play with. It allows you to do a lot of really cool things. And I'm going to set this up just to be a 5-1 setup, which is great because like I can already make a 5-1. Yeah, I know plugins failed because for some reason you're not finding things. And why are you not logging me in? Oh, sound particles. You're making it hard for me today. Let's see. Let's go and find my sound particles stuff. Find my info for sound particles. Let's go back to here. Sound particles login. Paste that. There we go, sound particles, thank you. And with sound particles loaded up, I can go ahead and say I want a 5-1, and I'm going to go with empty, and go okay. And what it does is it sets up a 5-1 microphone, virtual microphone, and I can then go over here and add a particle emitter, because that's what I'm going to want. And I can put it anywhere I want, but first I'm going to have to drag in my sounds that I just recorded. So we're going to go to add sounds, and jdr3 effects, and go to here and go down to jdr3 effects. Sometimes I scroll too quick. And under my sound design, and then the arcade elements and the audio files, and we can take these two and say open, and it'll pop them in here. And then with sound particles, I can go ahead and set all sorts of other things up. So I can pause that and I can say, you know what, I want this just to be a point, because I do just want it to be one single point that it's going to generate all these particles at. And I could say I want to make 10 particles per second. No, maybe less than that. Let's go down to 1.2 particles per second, but we want it to last for many seconds, so that's making a scene for us. It's going to create, let's go down to 0.5 particles per second. And then we can tell the movement modifier to say, you know what, we don't want the sounds to move, but we do want where the emitter puts them. So we can tell that to move in a circle for the emitter, so that sort of surrounds us. Do something like that, have it not move very fast, 30 degrees per second, maybe go down even less, go to like 10 degrees per second. We're not trying to make a tornado of sounds. We do want it to granularize our mod audio so that it switches it up, random size, because why not? Anywhere in there will be good. And also have it modify. Let's have it modify the pitch and time. Why not? Just a little bit though. Not much. We'll just go 1 semitone. And we could tell it to render. And what it's going to do is it's going to render out our sound and jump it around. You can kind of see it doing it here. And actually, I'm listening to in5.1. It's kind of funny because it's going all the way around me, which is just kind of nutty for this sound to be doing. Let's see what else we could do. Let's move it a little bit closer. For one, we don't want it to be that far away. We can have it be about 10 feet away. We can actually type that in. So its starting point is 10 feet away, and it's only going to move around us. Maybe have it move have the emitter move a little bit faster, because then it becomes a little more exciting. We can render it. And now it's kind of popping up around us. You know what? We're going to have it actually make more particles per second. Why not? This 0.5 is too slow. Let's do 3 particles per second. Have that render. Now it's sort of bouncing around, making this video game sound sort of pop up all around us. And what's cool about this is that we can actually make more particle emitters if we wanted it. We can actually duplicate this one. Let's duplicate that one. And we could take the copy of it, and we could take this puppy and make it go faster. Let's have this go 90 degrees per second. And we can take this one and change the audio modifier on it so that the granular, let's take out the granular. And just have it render. Ooh, this is going to get crazy. You can tell that already. It might get too crazy. Yep, a little too crazy. We could take the second one though and knock it down. Let's not do 3 particles per second. Let's make this 1.25 particles per second. Render that out. That's a little more difficult. We're sort of running the video gameplay. I don't know. I'm not loving it, but that's just sort of the beginning of our journey. Let's go back here and maybe come up with some more video game sounds. I'm going to save this preset as save settings as, and we're going to just call this jdr3 arcade bonk for fun, and then we're going to load up a default again, because it's always good to start from scratch when coming up with new sounds. So we can go ahead here and add a different oscillator to our key group. Last time we used phase shifter. Let's see what the super saw does for us. And we need to make sure that video game-ish like I would like. Not very video game-ish at all, I would say. Not what I'm looking for. Let's pop that out. Let's see what else we can come up with. Plucks are probably pretty good. Pluck. And let's load up something, because I don't feel like loading up my own right now. Oh, that works. Let's go through the modulation and take out our velocity on the attack. Doing something like this. Going back to our idea of bonks for video game. Dig that. Nope, liked it better that way. I could go with something like that. And then maybe we'll add another oscillator on here. And let's see what... Not a huge fan of this texture thing. Let's see what else we can... Oh no, that's the noise down here. Pop, it might not be the best one. Let's see if we... Go for this. Yeah, I'm not minding that. I'm not minding that at all. That should be following the same dynamics as before. Oh, I like it with that bouncing up though. So let's go ahead and add modulation to this and add a key group LFO. right off the bat. That. Kind of like that. And it's again sounding very old video game-ish. And if we go back to our master effects, we can add our diode clipper to it, or maybe we'll add something different to it this time. Maybe. No. Maybe analog crunch. No, it's not giving it enough crunch. Kind of want that like lo-fi sound to it. Oh, what do we want to add? Maybe under miscellaneous now. Let's go back to drive and let's add maybe our fuzz. Maybe a crunch. You don't want a lot of crunch. Just kind of want to make it a little bit. We can add 2 things. Well, that's kind of neat. Well, not sure what I think of this yet. You know what I was liking the other day, though, that made things sound really cool and video game-ish was adding temperance. Let's see. Now, this is a verb, and maybe we add. That's not bad. It's kind of doing what I want. Ooh. It kind of sounds like a boxing game or something like that. I could get behind that for our sound here. Kind of adding that kind of like almost 8-bit. What if we add something like lo-fi to this? Let's go ahead and add lo-fi and knock down our bit depth. That's kind of old school game. Kind of like that for old school game. We're getting a little loud here. Let's knock that down a little bit, shall we? add this in to our sounds. Make sure that we have that named right, and we can. We recorded that in, and then we can go back to sound particles and just add that straight to one of our particle emitters. Let's add it to that first one. Again, we just have the ability to just do all sorts of fun things. We got to back out of this to go back in. And there's our third one. Now that just adds another layer of fun stuff to us. I think this is moving too much. I shouldn't have this one move so much because it's weird. What I should do is get rid of the movement modifier. And I'm going to take this particle point, all right, because it's just a point and it's about 10 feet out, and I'm going to move it 10 feet to the left. Right, so you can see here on sound particles in our grid, right, the yellow is particle emitter 1 and the orange is particle emitter 1 copy, and we can move this one 10 feet to the right. So this way in our 5-1 space, yeah, true, it's not doing anything super exciting, but now we can render this and it's just a stereo. And it's doing something a little bit different here. I'm not sure I like the granularization that I have going. So let's go back to audio modifiers on 1 and get rid of the granular. Maybe it's just the size of it that I don't like. Let's try upping that. Oh, this might get crazy. Yeah, that's a little too crazy. I think the granularization is hurting us more than helping us. So let's go ahead and, well, we could just disable it. We can just disable it because maybe we don't want to get rid of it just yet. Maybe we just want to disable it. And we can add a gain of random gains. We don't want it to go 12 dB. Let's go 6. Now, really, I think the dB can only go negative. I don't think it varies. I don't think it's going to go 6 dB louder. It's going to go as loud as 0 or down to -6. Though, according to this, see all these red lines down here? This is telling us that it is peaking out. So maybe that is too much. Let's knock that down. Maybe let's go 12 dB. What do I know? And maybe also we have too many particles happening at once, because we do have, over our course of 107 seconds, we do have 323 particles being made. So let's knock this down to maybe 0.5, and that'll only make 54 particles over the time. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, that sounds... Starting to build up. Not sure I like that. Not sure I like that. I should try this new sound particles assistant. I'm not going to do that right now. The sound particles assistant, you're supposed to be able to type in a scene that you want it to do, and it will basically set it up the way you want it to. But I'm not exactly sure what I want it to do, so I don't think I can ask it to do it. If that makes sense? Makes sense to me. Guess that's all that matters. Oh, crud. Look at what time it is. I do have to go do some errands. Thanks for joining me for the live. This will get archived and probably reposted, but I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you next time. Thanks.